I watched season 7's media rounds, so you don't have to. So the cast has been doing their rounds this week. As you know, I've done a few of them. Go watch them if you haven't already. We're also going to talk about Chris on the Vow File. So he had a good time there. You could tell they eased him into some of the questions. They were giving him things to knock out the ball. I will say the guy, I forget his name, Nick Viall, whoever the Viall guy is. This is my first time watching a lot of these podcasts. I'm not their target audience. But I mean, it wasn't bad. But I would say the Vow Files, they talk a lot. So it was hard to get all the information out of Chris that we wanted. So I did watch a little bit of it. I have to watch the other half later. But I'll talk to you guys about what I have so far. So we start off the interview with a little bit of his background and who he is and where he's from. So he was playing abroad. They called him and asked him to come on the show and participate. He was kind of not sure, but he was like, his contract was up, didn't have anything else to do, so he decided to come on the show, which he's excited that he decided to do. And within that, he was posted up in that hotel journaling and doing self-reflection, because as you guys know, they take away your phones and leave you isolated in the room to prepare you for the isolation that you'll have in the villa or the casa. So, and they end up calling him 2 days prior to Casa Amor, letting him know that he was going to be on Casa Amor. So he was excited, ready to get out the house. So when Chris got into the villa, he already knew who he was going for. He knew that he was going for Shelly. He had been watching her because up until that point, the only thing they could really watch on TV is Love Island. So he already knew that Shelly was his girl. She was the one for me. Or what he say, my Shelly, mom. He made that song. That was cute. He tried for a quick 2.5 seconds. So he talks about that pivot. But I'm gonna get there. So essentially, he knew he was going for Shelly when he came into the house. That was his girl, and he wanted to move towards her. So they talked about that a little bit, and why he didn't pursue her once he got into the house, because he said that once he got in the house and he saw the connection between Ace and Shelly, like it was really deep, he just didn't feel right as a man. And he particularly said as a black man, because you never see black men open up like that. And the way Ace was opening up to Shelly, he's like, you don't see that on TV. And he didn't want to be the bad guy, black guy who come in and kind of kill their vibe. It was just too pure to destroy. So that's why he backed off the way he was like, especially at the end of the day, I did have Huda. So let's backtrack a little bit, as I was going to say. So the plan was to bring Chris in via Huda. Huda had no connection in the house. She was sick of JD, got rid of JD. So what happened in that time was there was a pact made between Huda, Shelly, and Chris once they found out that everybody was coming back into the villa. Because what was going to happen was, you know, typically, which is why the producer kind of messed up this year. Typically, you pick who you want to come back and you pick that boy and you bring him back. Shelly was 100% going to bring Chris back from the villa had it been that setup. But when they said all the boys can come back, and Huda wasn't even interested in JD like that, she was like, let me just bring him back for you. And that's why it was weird, even for me as a viewer, that when she did that switch up and just picked Chris all of a sudden, because she did that for Shelly. And Chris made it very clear, yeah, Huda didn't bring me in for her. She brought me in for Shelly. Like, I made it very clear that I know you only here for Shelly and not me. So when they got back to the villa, Huda was all kind of confused on like, why you not cooking me pancakes and this. He was like, I ain't here for you. I'm only here for Shelly. So it wasn't Shelly acting crazy or being a mean girl. It was actually in that situation, like, no, Huda was the one who flipped the script. He then talked about why he flipped the script and started going into Huda. And that's why everybody's mad at him and mad at Huda in that situation. Because it got complicated at a certain time when he finally did see the chemistry between Ace and Shelly. He said, no, I'm not going to continue this. I'm just going to go. Huda already liked me. I have something with it. I'm starting to learn to like her as a friend, because at that point they had become friends. And he also defended Huda in that same situation where he said that she didn't do too much in the heart rate challenge, because in his point of view, they asked and raised their hands and said, is anybody feeling inappropriate about the things we're going to do tonight? And nobody raised their hand. Nobody said they were closed off, and nobody had any particular boundaries. When all of a sudden Shelly's upset over what Huda did to Ace, Chris felt like that was inappropriate because nobody had set boundaries. When they asked what the boundaries was, nobody put any in place. For her to react like that to Huda, he felt like that was out of line. I did that stuff in the beginning so you guys can kind of get that out the way if you guys were here for that information. But let's backtrack a little bit about his family. He talked about his mom, he talked about his sister, he talked about his sister coming out online saying something against Huda. He didn't think that was appropriate. He thinks that his sister is just trying to be, you know, big sis and protect him. He is the youngest of the two of them. His dad has 7, his mom has 2. So all of his other siblings are from his dad, and him and his sister kind of were raised as just a brother and a sister, and he's the younger of those two. So she's extremely protective of him, but she did apparently issue an apology to Huda in private, and she also made a statement apparently just kind of stepping back from it. He didn't want her to get involved because he said that is not reflective of how he feels about Huda. He respects Huda, and that's kind of where I left it at. There's a whole another hour and some change of it. I'm sure he gets into the end and not picking her up, so I'm gonna watch the rest of it later, but I just wanted to get this out here today. This is what I got on his video too. So far, it was a really good interview. I will say that Nick Viall asked too many questions and didn't allow enough answers. So that's why I didn't get to finish the interview, because I was getting kind of frustrated with it. So I will finish it for you so you don't have to go through the frustration. So hit me back tomorrow and we'll talk about the second part of Chris's interview with Nick Viall. All right, but the girl on Nick Viall Files, she did really good. She's great at asking questions. She was good at interjecting and adding in some clarifying questions. So shout out to her. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't already. Please get me to 1K subscribers on here, or followers here on TikTok, so that I can go live. And if you haven't already, hit me up on YouTube. Follow me there so that I can go live with you there, because at least I can go live on YouTube. All right, guys. Take care. Bye.